And I expressed to him that I wished he would have just contacted my office before now, because I usually am able to work these things out.
Also, wherever you like. James Albert Aguilar, Jeffrey Rosenthal, Patrick Michael Rivera, Keaton Matthew Yoga, Alex Fabian Puente Jr., and Marcos Enrique Corrales Gomez. All right. If we can just have appearances, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matthew Christian for Las Vegas Metro.
Stephen Stubbs for all defendants. And preliminarily, Your Honor, two of these defendants we have come to a deal on, and they're going to be dismissed from this case. If I could simply put those on the record first.
Yes.
Defendants Bayuga and Carabas, they have agreed to plead no contest to illegal parking, complete level 2 traffic school and pay a $250 fine, and close out the cases. I have provided via email the level 2 traffic school for both of them, and I have their funds in my trust account. We can simply close those off today.
All right, so let me just make sure I have Keaton Matthew Bayuga and Marcos Enrique Corrales Gomez.
Yes.
Okay.
The state actually made the offer to all defendants,
Okay.
and with no contingency that certain amount had to accept. And two of them, because they have CCWs or other work commitments, decided to take it, and the others would like to vacate it.
Okay, so pleading no contest to what was the charge?
Illegal parking.
And then what's the requirements? And what was the requirements?
Level 2 traffic school and a $250 fine.
And then if successful, be dismissed?
Actually, the deal was that it would be done before today, and it is done, and we're pleading straight to the illegal.
Okay.
Right. It's a straight plea to illegal parking with
Okay.
the level 2
and 250. Is that correct?
Yes, a successful reduction to 0.5.
All right, and you're authorized to dismiss your client. All right, and how would you like to plead to illegal parking?
No contest for Mr. Bayuga and Carabas.
All right, and you stipulate to any defense parties?
Yes.
All right. Court will adjudicate Mr. Gomez and Uga guilty of the illegal parking, order a $250 fine and level 2 traffic school. My understanding that both have been satisfied today?
After you make your findings, I will pay the $250 fine for both.
All right, upon payment of that, then this will be closed as to those two. All right, so let's go as to everything else. There was some additional discovery given to you, Mr. Stubbs.
Yes, there were body cams and some photographs.
Okay.
Yes. We are still faulting numbers 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 in their entirety for the court subpoena. Additionally, we need everything to be resubmitted unredacted. And then with number 9, they have submitted the cabs and the radios. However, I would tell the court that on one of them, one of them, the actual leading officer, Sergeant Doty, wasn't included on the unit log for that particular for LLV 2407001000062. So I believe that's incomplete. Then there's actually a number of these. There is no.
So, Mr. Stubbs, let me
Yes.
stop you. Where are you reading from where you're going through the numbers? What are you actually looking at? Because there's another motion for issuance of subpoena that looked like was filed.
I'm going after on the actual order.
Okay,
The numbers from the order.
okay.
Okay. And there's a few things that were just simply ignored, and either LVMPD needs to provide an affidavit saying those things do not exist, or they need to provide them, including any other video recordings aside from body cameras, which we have, any other surveillance videos aside from body cams, photos for all of the incident numbers in this case, where we know there are some photos and no photos have been provided with the number of these. I can go over them with counsel, later, the exact ones that we know are there. But also, we did not receive any written records whatsoever for the incident numbers that were requested that are not the incident numbers. So we have nothing written at all.
All right, so did you see why the court required attorney?
Kind of,
information?
yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
I'm at a huge disadvantage here though, Your Honor, because I didn't know about any of this until yesterday after the close of business. I did see, at the time, the subpoena or this order was served on Metro.
Okay.
I saw it because it was a little bit unusual, and I was happy to see it actually because I could tell that there wasn't just a subpoena issued without the court's direction. So that part was good. After that, my understanding was that in the ordinary course, this would be sent to our records bureau, and our records bureau provided records. That I didn't know anything more about this until yesterday after close of business. Mr. Stubbs approached me in court today, and he has a nice list there of all the things that he thinks that he hasn't been provided. And I expressed to him that I wished he would have just contacted my office before now, because I usually am able to work these things out.
Okay.
I don't know what these records are. Number 3, the identification of.
Most of it is identification, which I'm guessing is from the redacted documents that you were provided.
Actually, it's not, Your Honor.
Okay.
There is, I'm calling him a puppet master, I'm not trying to be negative, but there is some sergeant or lieutenant above everybody that was working on the instant case. That person was giving orders over the radio. And even after Mr. Millan was told to be issued a citation and released, that person who wasn't even on the ground and didn't see any facts ordered everybody's arrest for reckless driving instead. And so we need to know who that person is. And there are other civil rights cases that are very similar to this. If that person is also involved in a civil rights case, then that makes all of these other things relevant.
Since the court will note that discovery for criminal cases is very different for discovery for civil. So I think that a lot of this is going into more of a civil realm for discovery. For criminal, it needs to be relevant to the actual charges. Are you calling this person that you don't know, are you gonna call them as a witness? Is the state calling this person as a witness? Has a witness list been given to the defense counsel? Like it's different discovery. It's a lot more specific. It needs to be just to the crimes that are actually charged and just to proving those crimes. It's not just kind of a free-for-all, in the civil world, it'd be a lot more discovery that you'd be given, but criminal, it has to be relevant, and is he being impeached? Is he gonna be called as a witness?
Your Honor, our defense is not only about the facts of the case, which there were body cams on at least one of the officers that just wasn't turned on for these alleged traffic violations that add up to reckless driving, okay? So the credibility of witnesses is imperative. Now, there are also important constitutional and Fourth Amendment issues here because of how this was handled and because of another state, a case, Imes, that was in the federal court even 5 years ago. I can present that to you at trial, but there are important constitutional issues. This puppet master, whoever it is, they will absolutely be called as a witness because they ordered the arrest and the charging of reckless driving when the sergeant on the ground decided that it wasn't reckless driving. And so, this is part of actually something that Metro is doing to this group of motorcyclists that is 100% unconstitutional, and we will present that at trial. But yes, all of this is potentially relevant. Depending on the name of that puppet master, some of this probably is not relevant. However, if that name is Matthew Donaldson, then it's all relevant because he's the one that's been doing this in not only this case, but 5 other cases.
Your Honor, I mean, I appreciate what the court said. Might be relevant is not good enough. It's supposed to be relevant. There's supposed to be a demonstration of relevance. So I appreciate that the court said that. Again, I'm at a disadvantage. My understanding is that all of the documents that are relevant to this case, which would include the CAD, which has all of the officers that were involved, or the arrest report, all of the officers that are involved are on there. So I'm not sure, what do I do to go find out who this puppet master is if it's not in a record? There's no record that's gonna say XYZ officer equals puppet master. There's no title puppet master at Metro. So I don't know, I don't know what I would even do to find that
So
out.
Ask Sergeant Walt. He's the one that said that this person exists. Just ask him.
Mr. Stubbs, okay,
Yeah.
so, is there any reason that the documents that were provided were heavily redacted?
Well, that's the part that, like I
Cause
said,
that's what the court is kinda looking at,
right.
is the redaction
That
of it.
was, I appreciate that too, Your Honor. When I looked at this after close of business yesterday, I saw that there's redactions, and that's why I'm saying, if I had been contacted, I probably would have seen that these redactions are not appropriate in this case because there's a court order. But also at the same time, I see in the staff, half of it is the records in this case that are filed in this case that are not redacted. So why is Metro getting an order to produce the same records that are already produced in this case? It doesn't make any sense. So I think that's off the table. These other event numbers, I have to agree that they seem like they're over redacted and that's not
Yes.
what Your Honor ordered. So I would be happy to have those unredacted.
Okay.
Your Honor, a few things. If you'll just simply call Sergeant Walt and say, who gave you the order? That would solve a lot of issues, because it's not in any written record that we've seen. In a criminal case, we are entitled to anything that is potentially exculpatory. I've shown the court why those things are potentially exculpatory, especially the records of the interrogations immediately afterwards that were done in CCDC and the videos of those interrogations that were done by criminal intelligence. That's for this case. And that's going to shed a lot of light on truly what this is all about. Because my clients were not reckless driving. That was made up to try to justify criminal intelligence's actions.
Okay, but we are here for reckless driving. So
Yes.
I understand you can present all of that at trial, but again, that's civil ground.
But I need that.
However, so what the court is gonna order, again, I don't think you can't order him to start calling people and seeing who it is. What the court's gonna order is the documents be unredacted. What were you missing from, cause videos were provided. Are we missing body cam? Does it not exist? Cause you said there was an officer that didn't turn on the body cam, so body cam wouldn't exist for that officer.
We have the body cams that are in the possession of Metro currently. That was just given to us a few days ago.
Okay, so what the court is gonna find that Metro was compliant to the extent of the redaction. So Metro needs to provide Mr. Stubbs with the unredacted documents, okay?
Will do.
Your Honor, there are items in the subpoena that we have to know who this witness is. If I would ask the court for an opportunity to depose Sergeant Waltz for the sole purpose of finding out who this person is for us to call a trial, that is allowed in the statute, and it's limited. We just want to ask the question, and if they want to provide it before a deposition, that's fine. But we need to know who made that order, because we need to call them as a witness.
Well, right now, all the court is ordering is for the unredacted documents, because your questions might get answered if the documents are unredacted. So that's what the court's gonna order right now. If after you receive the unredacted documents or talk to Metro's attorney, if there's any subsequent motions that you wanna put on, then we can address it then. But as of right now, that is what the court order is gonna be, is for the documents to be unredacted.
Your Honor, what about the documents that we know exist that they have not provided? What about the interrogations on this case? Those have not been provided. Those videos have not been provided.
Mr. Christensen just said that everything was provided.
No.
Did I miss that?
Well, I don't know. I didn't look into that closely, Your Honor. What I'm saying is that there's records that clearly are in the docket that are also in the stack of redacted records, so that confused me. I mean, Your Honor, I'm not the prosecutor, right? I don't represent the state of Nevada. The DA who's handling this case apparently is not here. That, to my experience in the last 9 years representing Metro, my understanding is that the DA believes there's something relevant that they need from Metro, that they contact us and we give it to them. Because if the DA says it's relevant, the DA says it's part of the case, then we provide it to them and then they do whatever they do with it.
Okay.
I guess give it to the defense.
Is
But
there videos of interrogation for this case that have not been turned over to the defense?
I have no idea.
Because if that is the case, then it needs to be turned over.
Okay.
And I'll make a note of that for the DA.
That would be, is that Mr. Stevens? Is prosecuting this case?
No, he's the chief. He's
I think
chief.
he's also on the case. Is he?
It's him and Brian Casper.
Okay.
Brian.
I mean, that, honestly, Your Honor, wouldn't that be a question for the DA? If there's a
So
discovery
the
that
court
isn't
has
turned over.
ordered, so in the court order, it says any videos, recordings, or records connected to the interrogations of the defendants in this case. So if it exists, it needs to be turned over.
And I would be
Because the
happy
court
to-
doesn't know
yeah.
if it exists or not. The court does know that the documents that do exist that were provided to Mr. Stubbs were redacted. So
Right.
that needs to be unredacted.
And may I also ask that if it doesn't exist, that we simply have an affidavit from them that says it doesn't exist, because that's what's supposed to happen.
That's fine. So if it doesn't exist, provide an affidavit that says it doesn't exist.
Understood.
Where are we at? Do we already have a trial date?
We do, for October 13th.
All right, so let's keep that trial date.
Is there a time
I
period for them
guess,
to provide this information?
As soon as possible, let's do a status check would 2 weeks be enough time?
Yes.
Let's do a status check in 2 weeks to make sure we have any affidavits of anything that doesn't exist. Make sure that the documents were provided unredacted.
On a Wednesday, please. Yes. Your Honor, may I depose Sergeant Wall for the
Right now?
sole purpose of finding out who gave him the order? Because he comes to them on the body cam and says, this is above my pay grade, my boss told me I have to arrest you guys for reckless driving.
Right now, the court's not ordering that because again, it may be clear in the documentation that you're gonna be provided.
The only thing I would ask at this point, to Your Honor, is if there's gonna be a motion for a deposition, maybe I could be served, because I have a feeling I'll oppose it.
Okay. Yes, so serve
Whether
the
the DA does
district
or not.
attorney's office and also serve Metro's counsel as well, if there's gonna be a motion for that. And right now, the court doesn't see a need for a motion, so I guess if you're gonna put on a motion for to depose someone, because right now, just the oral motion, of course, denying that. If you wanna put it on, just make sure all parties involved are served, so district attorney office and also Metro's counsel.
It's gonna be October 1st at 8:30.
Thank you.
Hopefully, we won't have to be here.
And he's gonna make comments.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Stubbs, and Mr. Stubbs.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Do you want your mic?